Right now, we're seeing some very important signs of life in terms of ADA. This is a great thing because we've only seen this one other time, one other weekend here in 2025, and it actually led to a very significant move to the upside. And the question is now, are we going to see that again heading into this week? We're going to talk about a lot of different things in this video. We need to discuss some of the uncertainty and nerves that are creeping into the market surrounding prices as of late. We need to have a discussion about a more longer term trend in terms of ADA, and we're going to have a discussion about what we might need to see for this market to start opening up in a much bigger way. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. I've been sitting here for about an hour and trying to figure out how to best put this video together, things to talk about here. And what's interesting is ADA price hasn't really moved a whole lot. It is a very steady eddy weekend. It's very low volume. There's not a lot of volatility, at least at the time of filming this video. And I'm hoping that this continues because what we're seeing right now for ADA is actually a very great sign. Obviously, we're still kind of in this ascending trend. We're still, obviously testing the bottom of this as we try to attack our 20-day moving average, which is our focal point of resistance currently. And what's interesting here is overnight, we made another stab at this, but really the most important thing I would say is that if we were, let's say, to close this daily candle right here, if we were to close it right now, what we're actually seeing is a trend that is ascending over the course of the weekend. We have only done this one other time here in 2025. Frankly, 2025 has kind of sucked for the weekends in general. I'm sure you guys have noticed this. We've talked about Fridays just being crap events. And unfortunately, weekends have not panned out in a very good way. Now, what's interesting here is we have only seen one other weekend where we actually exited the weekend higher than where we got into it. And that was actually back here as we got through the 11th and the 12th. You guys can see we entered the weekend down here, exited the weekend up here. So what we actually saw was a little bit of a trend change. Now, we did have the Monday dump, which sucked, but I want everybody to look at what followed the rest of the week. We saw significant upside surges for ADA. We actually ran from all the way down at this 94-cent range all the way up to $1.13. This is actually where ADA was starting to make its breakout. Of course, then we got the Trump and Melania meme coins, which drug everything down, but you guys get the point. We're showing very similar signs actually to that weekend. And right now, again, ADA is getting a lot of compression in this range, and it's showing us signs that it wants to break to the upside. That's really good. Now, that being said, what we are seeing across the market is a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of nerves. And this can really be seen when we look at something like the leverage liquidation charts in terms of ADA and the leverage liquidation charts in terms of BTC. Now, again, we're sandwiched in between two ranges: thick short leverage up here right at about 82 cents, thick long leverage down here at about 74.80. Now, why this is so significant now is if you guys remember, many times in the past year, we have dealt with this exact same thing, this sandwiching of liquidation zones on both sides, but it's usually a lot tighter than this. And what you're seeing right now is people are uncertain. They're nervous. They don't want to get too close to these current prices because they don't know whether we're going to shift to this overall bullish sentiment where the market just starts to pop, which it's showing it wants to, or if we're going to possibly see some downside still. This can really be tracked in an even bigger way on BTC. Do you guys remember how thin some of those zones were? That's not the right. How thin some of those ranges were. We're talking about $2,000 in price difference in BTC from basically the long leverage and the short leverage liquidation beginnings. All right. Now, this is all the way down at about 94.8 or so, and all the way up at about 99.5. Nobody wants anything to do with leverage around prices currently. That is a very good sign. And what that means is that the market is still trying to digest, what is going to come next? What are we going to see from here? And the overwhelming sentiment in the market is that we're starting to shift towards a little bit more of a positive note. And you guys can see ADA just flipped green right now. We may actually see the first weekend where we actually have back-to-back green days. That'd be really big for the crypto market. All right. Now, that being said, what we're seeing in terms of ADA here on the short term here is, again, still between our 20 and our 200-day moving average, just getting kind of compressed in there. But I think what's even more important is what's happening in terms of BTC here. And what we actually currently have is a broadening wedge here. Now, this is just playing out exactly sideways, and this is all happening while it's getting compressed between all of its moving averages, right? It's 100-day moving average moving up. We have our 20 and our 50 moving down. So BTC is getting very much range bound here, and it's very soon going to be testing above and below these moving averages. All right. It's just a matter of time. And that's if we even stay sideways into this early part of March. So it's a question of, what overall trend is going to take over. Are we going to see this push to the downside and potentially a BTC retest down here? I don't think that's the case, because again, what we're seeing is this bull market support band moving up in terms of BTC right now. That 20-week moving average is actually all the way at about 90,005. That is our bull market support. Apart from black swan events, BTC doesn't want to close or fall below and close weekly candles below there. So what we're seeing is kind of this pressure from the downside to kind of push everything up now. All right. Doesn't mean it's always going to play out that way, but this is what we currently have present in the market. Now, that being said, I did see a post from Dan Gambardello, and he pointed out what was actually taking place all the way back in late 2020 versus what's happening right now. And this is the monthly chart in terms of ADA. What's interesting is, this is something we've actually talked about before. What we're seeing is this very similar trend to what we were dealing with back here again in the latter part of 2020. And what's interesting about this is that this is playing out in that exact formation like we discussed, right? That triple tap in terms of ADA trying to break its resistance, and then that was finally where it sent. Well, guess what? ADA's doing that again. So we have now 1, 2, and then we're waiting for that last tap right here for ADA to get this slingshot through the upside, okay? Now, this doesn't mean it's always going to play out that way, but what's also coincidental here is that we're seeing ADA back here tested this 20-week or 20-month moving average. Same thing, came down, tested our 20-month moving average. And this may be where we actually get a little bit of carry to the upside. Now, understand that it's possible we could still go down and test this. That's not out of the realm of reality. Right here, currently it sits at about 61 cents. So I think anybody talking about, 50-cent ADA or anything below that, I think that's just absolutely insane at this time. We're not even anywhere close to those trends. Okay. Now, what we might need to see across the market is BTC to wake up just a little bit. Okay. So this article, for example, talks about us possibly needing to get back to 106K before we get into any consideration or discussion of price discovery around altcoins. And, that might in fact be the case. When we look back here in the the latter part of 2024, what we saw was a very similar trend. BTC got up obviously to its resistance at the prior all-time high, which at that time was about 73K or so. And really, we needed to get almost up to those ranges before assets started running wild. Yes, we started climbing out of the August trend. We saw a little shift in momentum, but again, really think about what happened here. It wasn't until BTC finally breached past and surged past those levels for everything to start waking up. Yes, there was a little bit of a catalyst. It caused ADA to go on a run. It caused other alts to go on a run as well. But this may be the moment where we start to see just a little bit more excitement in the market. Now, again, I have to say, I don't think we're anywhere close to the top of this market. In fact, when we look at something like the total 3, all assets outside of BTC and Ethereum, outside of BTC and Ethereum, we have not even gotten into the overbought range yet. All right. That hasn't been indicated. We look at the total 2, haven't even gotten to the overbought range yet. Okay. If we look at the total market cap of crypto, haven't even gotten to the overbought range yet. So we're not even close to the end of this thing. Anybody that's trying to tell you different, I really don't know what to say. What we're dealing with is just some of this short-term negativity that has just tried to beat the charts down and down and down. And what we're seeing is that sting start to wear off just a little bit. The market's becoming a little bit more immune every time we deal with one of these negative events. And it's finally, it's really a question about, what is the final one where the market's like, screw you, and it just goes on this parabolic run to the upside. And right now, the signs for this week are very exciting. We're seeing the right things from a momentum side of things. We're starting to see the right side of a sentiment shift. I mean, this is exactly what we need to see right now. So I have a lot of confidence heading into the week, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Where do you think ADA price is headed? Appreciate you guys as always. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.